Hey guys, welcome back to a new video, and in this video I'm gonna do another tour of the city, and I've actually done a lot of improvement on the city, or at least on that area that I really do want to show off, because I think I spent a lot of time, and I think it's time for new tours, since the last time I did one was I think on the weekend. Now I do actually currently, when I'm making this video, have a 3-day weekend, or a 4-day weekend for me really. Currently it's Friday when I'm recording this video, and I have off until Monday, so I'm pretty happy about that, and I'll probably make a new tour video on Monday, because I probably might get a lot of stuff done, but at the same time I'm probably going to be playing a lot of GTA like I was this week. But even though I was playing a lot of GTA, I still managed to get a lot of stuff in the city done, and I'm still actually working on it. So I hope you guys are going to enjoy this tour video, and without further ado, let's just get into the tour itself. So, a little quick change over here. This is actually the only change outside of the new area. I added another few floors onto this building, just because I wanted another taller building in this area. Just because I felt like a lot of the buildings were a lot shorter than I wanted, so I made this building more stand out by being taller. And soon I'll put the antenna on, the spire I mean, on top of the building. So that's actually it for this entire part of the city. Nothing new has actually been added. The only areas that have been new are the new parts of the city, which I will be going over right now. So this area, unlike the other areas in my city, is actually mainly focused on the economy. So mostly about like businesses and all that, and so far I think it's been going good. So let's get into it. And I think the first and most immediate change when you actually enter through the only entrance so far into the city is that I completely remodeled the apartment here. Now if you guys remember or recall, this used to be a brick building just like these other two, which I'm gonna remodel this soon. But I actually changed that because I didn't like how it looked, especially in an area that's supposed to be a very, like a very rich area, or not rich area, but a very important economic area. So it has a lot of importance to the city. Not really a rich area, but you get what I mean. So this is kind of like another tunnel going to like an underground parking lot and stuff, and this kind of is like a smaller office building. But this building here is kind of like a hotel, or one of the smaller hotels. And like on top you even have like a small pool and some seating areas, and it leads back inside of the building and the hotel and stuff and everything like that. So I'm pretty happy with how these two buildings came out. Next is near the stock exchange. The only difference is there's a statue, is the Statue to Economic Growth and Prosperity. And recently on the news I've seen them talking about the bull statue in New York City, and I kind of want to make a statue kind of like that. So it's not really like a bull, because let's be honest, that's just way too much for an area so small. But I kind of wanted to create a statue, so it's almost like a tree growing out, but made out of sea lanterns. And it's just a small little statue in this area, and you're gonna notice a lot of little details in this area. It's because this area is really important, and I wanted to make it look as good as I possibly could. So these two buildings have not been changed. The two main towers and the stock exchange have not been changed. But the first actual change I made was this massive building here. Let me just get up before I can show you guys. Like, it is just huge. It's one of the taller buildings. It is the HWCO building here, and it is massive. It took me about the same amount of time as this building, about 2.5 hours. And the reason why is because although it isn't as tall, it's definitely more wide of a building. Not only that, it has a lot of glass too that I had to fill in with glowstone. So it definitely took a while. And on top you have like the air ventilation and an entrance to the other side. But that's kind of the HWCO building, and it's really tall. And it's probably one of my new favorite buildings in the entire city. I know I say that a lot, but no, not really. So I think first we're gonna go down this street, since there's not actually that much here. Last time this was actually completely empty, and this road leads to the airport down there. But I'm gonna go down here first and then down to that way. So here is this building is actually based off, and a lot of these buildings are based off of buildings in New York City, which I look on Google Earth. This building here is based off of one near the New World Trade Center. It's more of an old styled building. but I think it still looks pretty good. There's a heck of a lot of snow on these buildings for some reason, but the taller ones don't have any snow for some reason, which is weird. But yeah, this is kind of I really like how this building came out. It's more of like these three buildings are more like they're tall, but they're not really, like, compared to the other buildings, they don't really look that tall. So here you have another office building, and this one's also based off of another building in New York City. You might have seen it, or you might recognize it from images and stuff. It kind of has like nothing really like here, and then it has like this leading up to like some spires and everything. So I really like how this building came out too. And going down here, this is actually one of the newer areas that I actually created very recently today. About like an hour ago I finished it. This area is kind of like a seating and dining area, and it has like a little cafe restaurant in here nearby the massive new building. And this is the massive new building. It is awesome. It's more of a unique design, so it makes this area kind of stand out. I need to get higher up. It's actually quite close to the official White House. Well, not the White House, because that's in real life Washington DC, but kind of like the main headquarters of the government. So this area kind of has like a really nice pool and all that, and seating area for people who want to have some luxury, because the top area is kind of like a hotel, and then the bottom area is more like an office slash residential building. That kind of means buildings that for people to live in, like apartments, houses, and all that. That's what I'm gonna mean by a residential building. Commercial buildings are like office buildings, and then industrial buildings are, you get it, like the industry, like factories. Over here is a new tanking yard, so it's actually nearby the mountain base and the recruitment center. It has a few tanks and artillery and everything. Not that much space to build many, because the tanks and artillery are pretty large, but there are some, so it's kind of like a little yard there. And there's another little statue. This one doesn't really have a name, but it's just for the looks, and I kind of like it. I kind of filled in the space here. And this area will continue a bit to this area, and I'm probably going to stop it around here and turn this area into maybe another park, or maybe even just an area with some apartment buildings. So going back the way we went over here, you have another really tall building that well, not really tall, but a tall building which I like. And it's also kind of based on another building in New York. Not really. It's more, a lot of these buildings are more generic design, because they're based off of some of the ones in New York City that I got on Google Earth. But there's like a little park here, and then there's also a massive fountain here near these finished buildings. And it's pretty damn tall. Wait up, let me go up. Yeah, so you can even see the airport here, and I'm not gonna have taller buildings near the airport. So they're gonna be like medium to smaller sized buildings, but there'll be some buildings over here. So this is the building that I'm talking about. Oh, I'm saying building a lot, but it's pretty tall. It also has a lot of snow for some reason. Yeah, it is snowing up here. Over here we kind of have a much smaller building, more like slanted angle. Oh, how did I forget the door? I'm sorry. I don't know how I did, but this is more of a smaller hotel type building. So this area is full of hotels and office buildings and all that. And this area I was kind of working on for a bit until I decided to make the video, and it's the Iron Gate Residential Zone. And it's gonna have a few buildings, but currently the only building that is well, almost near completion is this massive one, and it's pretty damn large actually. Yeah, it's pretty damn large, but it's cool. And you can even see the chest, and this is sometimes what I do when I go offline or AFK. Or if I want to focus on another area instead of doing this, I'll put all the materials in here. I don't know why I have the chest in here. But I'll put all my materials that I was using to build it in here, and I'll just pick it up later and get rid of the chest. So, yeah, that area is going to be definitely finished by the next tour video. Might be a week or two until I make it, maybe on Monday. This area is one of the more generic buildings that I was talking about. It's nearby the hotel and office building. And this one is another office building. And it's a much more generic design, but for some reason I really do like it. So it has more like vents and stuff up here, which I like. And I generally do like this area. of the city, a lot more than other areas. So there's kind of like a few parks here and stuff, even though this tree's cut in half. So here's another much smaller building. So I kind of wanted a mix between medium buildings, large buildings, and small buildings, but I wanted them to all fit kind of like together in the city and actually look good, like it's actually a really busy part of the city, and I kind of got that feel with this area. So next is kind of like a Times Square area, and it's based off of the main buildings in Times Square, full of billboards and everything, and the commercials and all that, but there's only some on the top roofs. I still do like how these ones came out. It's just that I don't really know where to put them, like if the billboards would look good on the buildings and stuff. So if you guys want, you guys can leave a comment down below if I should put some billboards on the buildings, like keep them on the buildings only, or put them on like the sides of the buildings and everything, like have it more like a Times Square type feel, if you guys have ever been there. So next is a building heavily based off of one in New York. You might have actually seen it. I don't actually know the name of the building, surprisingly, even though I do get the designs off of them, but this one has to be one of my new favorite designs, and I do say that a lot, but I mean, like, I really like how this building is like designed, especially with it's like more unique compared to other buildings in my city. And that was kind of what I was going for with this entire office area. I wanted something more unique, because after seeing the three main buildings that I built here, well, this one isn't very unique, but especially the buildings over there, I wanted something a bit more unique to make the city feel a bit more diversified and everything, and a bit more lively. So I built more buildings based off of buildings in New York, because there's a plethora of buildings there that look nice. And then finally, this one I actually did yesterday. Oh, at least at the time of making this video, I did this yesterday night. And I really actually like this one. It's more slanted at another slanted angle, and it's pretty tall. And it's just another office building, and this area is definitely gonna lead more like downward, and then a side like this connecting to the other complete side of the road near the airport, and it's gonna go kind of like in a perfect loop around this entire area, and that's practically what this entire area is. It's a perfect loop. Not a loop, but you get what I mean. So yeah, that's really it for the tour video. I hope you guys do actually enjoy it. So that's kind of it for now. I have a lot of other ideas for this area, but right now it's all just based off of time. You know, I might focus on this area later on. Instead, I might focus on like maybe like a missile silo over here. Hell, I might even try and do this area over here. But I'll see you guys in the next video.